What's going on, everybody? Malik here. Today we're going to be talking about social awkwardness and my experience dealing with it in this day and age, especially going through the time period in which the happened, the pandemic. Trying to be very careful what I say. I don't want, my video to get knocked or whatever. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about basically how people have become more socially awkward and less interactive and less compassionate to one another due to our lack of social interaction or lack of social community, I guess is a better way to put it. But essentially, I work as a delivery driver. So I'm driving around all the time. This is my conventional job. I'm a delivery driver, and I go, different houses, apartment complexes, all those kinds of things, and I'm dropping off packages to people every single day. Or almost every single day. And in my short time of a year being a delivery driver in this post-pandemic, end of pandemic, mid-pandemic, I don't know what you consider it, but whatever, personally, I'm kind of over it. So anyway, I feel like because of the lockdown periods and some of the cautions that people had during the time period, and maybe even now to the present, people became much more wary of each other, especially strangers. It seemed like people didn't really want to have conversation nor get too close to you and all that stuff. And I kind of understand that to an extent, but at the same time, it's kind of gotten to the point of making people incredibly socially awkward. And I don't know, maybe it's just hold on, there's somebody coming. Okay. Right. Make sure that everything is in frame and everything, and we will continue. Okay. I apologize for that. But actually, that's a pretty good example too of exactly what I'm talking about. So I don't know if it's because of COVID. I don't know if it's because we're out here and this is a nature preserve. There's not a lot of people. We're far away from the road and stuff. So I don't know, maybe that person did not feel comfortable, walking over here or whatever. But it seemed like this guy was going to come check out the lake, and he just kind of turned around, didn't say nothing, didn't acknowledge me, nothing. I was going to try to talk to him or just say hello or, whatever. But anyway, that actually plays into what I'm talking about today, which is kind of weird, but not weird because there's no such thing as coincidences. But anyway, so yeah, it's very strange for me, especially the way that I grew up. I always learned to be compassionate of people, be considerate of people, even if I don't agree with them, or even if, whatever, I don't know the person, all this and that. If I have no reason to dislike you or no reason to not respect you, then I'm going to respect you, and I'm going to, treat you like a decent human being would, right? And so, I don't know, I feel like for something as simple as a service job or delivery, if somebody's giving me a package or if they're dropping it off or something, I always feel the need to say oh, at least thank you. I don't have to have a conversation with them. I don't have to get all lovey-dovey. I don't have to do nothing, but I at least acknowledge, and appreciate that their work, has gotten me my product, right? Or what I ordered or whatever the case was. So yeah, I just find it very interesting nowadays. It seemed like while that is the case for most people that I interact with, they at least say thank you, or they try to chop it up and stuff for a little bit. There's an alarming amount of deliveries that I have where people do very weird shit, and I don't know what it is. That's why I'm making this video, but it's just overtly strange because in order to work for my delivery service, you have a criminal record check, you have all those kinds of things. So you can't be a criminal and work for, my delivery association or whatever. So, it's I'm not a criminal, I must be a fairly decent person if I'm working for this organization. And, I'm just trying to be as friendly as possible. You know, it's hot. I'm running all day. I'm sweaty. I'm bogged down a lot of the time. I'm ready to finish. Like I'm usually not in the greatest of moods by the end of delivering, but you know, throughout the day, if I interact with a customer, I will at least, you know, show some kind of contentment when they do acknowledge, you know, the job I do, or give simple thanks, whatever. And like I said, most of the time that is the case. Most of the time people will say thank you. Most of the time people will talk. Most of the time people interact like people should, right? I'm going to give a few examples of things that I come across often. So number one thing to be pissing me off, and I think is extremely weird, is when people will take a package directly out of your hand. So they'll take the package directly out of my hand. They won't say nothing. I can say something. I'll be like, "Oh, hello, sir," or "Hey, ma'am, here's your package," and they just take the package and walk away without saying anything. That's very weird to me. That's like weird. I don't know. Like, you're making eye contact with me. You clearly see me. You know, are grabbing something out of my hand and you just not saying nothing, right? That's pretty strange. I don't think that that's like socially common or shouldn't be amongst human beings. We're sociable creatures. You know, again, simple thank you or simple acknowledgement, you know, something, a head nod, something is like normal, right? And I understand some people have certain conditions and things like that. I do feel like the time and place that we live in now has kind of accelerated a lot of these socially awkward behaviors and moods and things that people are like dealing with more and more. I think that has definitely accelerated that. And again, you know, that's why I'm saying, like, you know, I don't know if it's the lockdown or the paranoia of other people, but some of these people, I guarantee you, might have not always been that way, but now they are, and it's very strange. Another example is I'll drop the package at the door and they're looking at me through the glass, or they're looking at me through the peephole, and I hear them open the door, but they don't open the door. They just like do this, and they just watch me go back into my van, and they'll wait till I leave completely before they come outside and grab the package. Now, I understand if you're like butt behind naked, I guess, whatever. I mean, I don't know, why would you leave the front of your house, you know, booty behind naked? But I don't know, that's very weird. Don't you think? Like, you know, I'm clearly just an employee, clearly just doing my job. I'm not like gonna do anything weird, you know. I don't know, maybe some delivery guys are weird. I don't know. Me personally, I just try to keep it as cordial as possible, as respectful as possible. And, you know, I try to be a nice person to the people I'm delivering to, whatever. And yeah, like just watching me walk all the way back into my delivery van and then start to drive. That's when you come outside to grab it. That's kind of weird. So yeah, those are a couple of examples kind of explaining exactly what I'm talking about now with like the social awkward encounters I be having in my job. And that's just one part of, you know, that whole thing, because it also happens in public all the time. I mean, I'm not saying you need to be buddy with everybody, but like, goddamn, like, acknowledge people, right? You know, we're all human beings. We all should be compassionate of one another. We should all acknowledge one another's existence, right? Like, I can see you, you can see me, you're walking, talking, I'm walking, talking right now. So, you know, I don't know. I feel like it's very strange, and honestly, you know, the only things I can think of, you know, in our society that may have allotted for these things to be like normalized, really, this kind of behavior, is one, the extreme population of cities and heavily populated areas. You have to desensitize in your mind how many people are around you, because keep in mind, for hundreds of thousands, not millions of years, most people lived in smaller areas, smaller villages, smaller towns, or even cities, but just not a ridiculously large population in said cities or said towns like we have today. And yeah, I think that just people in their mind justify their behavior because they have to desensitize the fact that there are so many people around them. I think that this is a big part as to inner city places like New York that are so crowded with people that you're just walking the street and you don't give a shit about the people that surround you when you're walking to the subway, you're walking to that, because it's just too much. There's too many people, there's too many things going on, there's too many like it's just overstimulation, right? So in your mind you have to like block it out and just keep moving as if there was no one around you, except for you only see these people as obstacles, right? And that's kind of a morbid way to see other human beings. Another thing I think plays a part in it too is, as I've covered before in another video about accessibility and things of that nature, quickness of all the ordering and the e-commerce, and everything is so quick and snappy and all this and that all the time, you know, is basically you see this human being that's operating in this service, in this field for you, and they're just a cog in a machine. To you, that person doing that job is no different from a cog in a machine. They're just there to, you know, give you what you want, and that's it. And to an extent, this is true, but nonetheless, you know, you can't treat the human being like it's a robot. You know, both from the employer side and from the customer side, you know, you can't treat a worker as if they are supposed to be a robot. That is not human, you know. So again, you know, like I'm saying, I'm not saying, you know, people need to have 4-hour conversations with everybody, become everybody's best friend. I just think that these issues that are becoming more prevalent, the more we grow, the more, you know, people are on social media and you know, are communicating more online than they are in person and all of that. I think that that's taking away a lot of our compassion for one another and our acknowledgement of one another. So anyway, that's all I got for today. I appreciate you guys for watching the video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I might upload another video today, depending on if my phone doesn't die soon. But if not, I will have another one very soon. And yeah, see you guys on the next one. Peace.